Welcome back to my channel. If you love history, adventure, and epic train journeys, you're in the right place. Today, we're at the legendary Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum, a place that takes you back to the golden age of steam trains. This museum isn't just about trains, it's a living piece of history, telling the story of the railroads that helped shape the American West. From vintage locomotives to incredible artifacts, there's so much to explore. We'll be checking out the historic trains, old-fashioned tools, and fascinating stories that come together to tell the incredible tale of how railroads shaped the development of the American West. Whether you're a history buff, a train enthusiast, or just love a good adventure, there's something for everyone here. Alright, we're stepping inside the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum, and the moment you walk in, you can feel the history all around you. The walls are lined with fascinating artifacts, and you're immediately transported to a time when steam engines were the backbone of travel. This place is a treasure trove for train enthusiasts and history lovers alike. It showcases locomotives, railcars, and artifacts that date back to the late 1800s, giving us a glimpse into the rugged and adventurous past of railroad travel in the Old West. Every piece here has its own story to tell, shedding light on the incredible journey that shaped not just transportation, but entire communities and the American frontier. We can see real tools, uniforms, and even old photographs that tell the incredible story of how this railway was built. And the best part, many of the trains here are still fully operational. These mounted animal heads remind us of the rugged frontier life that surrounded the railroad industry. Back in the day, railroad workers and travelers often encountered the wild side of Colorado. Bears, elk, and mountain lions were common sightings along the tracks. And check this out, this old clock is likely from the early 1900s, a time when every second counted for keeping trains running on schedule. Before digital systems, everything relied on precise timing and manual coordination. These are some fascinating collection of antiques that truly capture the spirit of the railroad era. These pieces were once part of everyday life for railroad workers and passengers alike. From old lanterns used to signal trains at night, to typewriters that kept track of schedules and cargo, each item here has its own story to tell. These framed pictures are absolutely fascinating. They show the Durango and Silverton station in its early days, crowds of passengers, steam billowing from the engines, and the hustle and bustle of a railway town at its peak. Back in the day, there were no digital signals or modern communication systems, everything depended on visual cues. These lanterns were used to signal conductors, guide trains at night, and even warn of dangers on the tracks. This one here is a great example of the kind of wildlife that roamed these lands. Many early settlers depended on hunting for survival, and some of these animals were also part of the culture and trade during that time. Amid all the railroad history and vintage artifacts, we've come across this beautiful little aquarium. It might seem out of place in a railroad museum, but it actually adds a nice, peaceful contrast to the rugged and industrial history around us. The soft movement of the fish and the shimmering water make this a calming spot amidst all the historic locomotives and artifacts. Many parts of Colorado are known for rich fossil discoveries, so it's no surprise to find a few on display here. Whether they represent ancient marine life, plant imprints, or even dinosaur bones, they remind us how much history is buried beneath our feet. This single seat was likely intended for the engineer or a crew member who needed to be close to the controls, and having a safety valve within reach was essential for handling any emergencies. The message "safety first" is a great reminder that, even in the early days of railroads, safety was always a top priority. These stunning collection of antiques. Inside this glass cabinet, we can see some beautifully framed photographs, vintage badges, a gramophone, and other fascinating items that take us even deeper into the history of the railroad. Here we are, standing in front of a true marvel of engineering, the steam locomotive. Above us, you can see the display reading operation of the RR steam locomotive, and it's hard not to feel a sense of awe when you're this close to such an iconic piece of history. Now, here's something truly magical. This is a stunning miniature display featuring Thomas Kinkaid's Christmas Express, and it perfectly captures the charm and nostalgia of holiday train travel. Known as the painter of light, Thomas Kinkaid was famous for his warm, glowing artwork, and this model train set brings that same enchanting atmosphere to life. The tiny train, with its festive details, seems like it's right out of a classic Christmas story. These compasses were likely used during the early railroad expansions to chart paths through rugged terrain, ensuring that tracks were laid correctly and safely. Just imagine the explorers and railroad planners relying on these simple yet powerful tools to guide them through vast, uncharted landscapes. An old telephone booth. Back in the day, before cell phones and instant messaging, telephone booths like this were a crucial way for railroad workers, station staff, and travelers to communicate. This is a powerful glimpse into the past, a framed black and white photograph titled America's Iron Horse Heritage. The phrase Iron Horse was a popular nickname for steam locomotives, symbolizing their strength, speed, and the way they revolutionized travel and industry. Here's a true American classic, an old Indian motorcycle. This brand has a legendary history, dating back to the early 1900s, and was one of the first motorcycle manufacturers in the United States. The railroad telegrapher. Before radios, cell phones, or modern signaling systems, the telegraph was the backbone of railroad communication. It kept trains running on time, prevented collisions, and ensured smooth operations across vast distances. A miniature version of the Durango and Silverton goods carrier. The craftsmanship on this piece is incredible, capturing the essence of the historic freight trains that once transported goods through the rugged landscapes of Colorado. This model is more than just a display piece, it's a tribute to the hard-working freight trains that kept industries moving and communities thriving. A small but powerful reminder of how railroads shaped the American West. A beautifully crafted miniature model of railroads and trains in motion. It's like stepping into a tiny world where history, engineering, and artistry come together. Watching these tiny trains travel through tunnels and over bridges is like reliving the golden age of railroads on a small scale. It's incredible how much effort goes into making these models look so lifelike, capturing the essence of real railway operations. Many of these trains are scaled-down replicas of famous locomotives that played a key role in transportation history. They once carried passengers, cargo, and even mail across vast landscapes, helping to build and connect communities. Here, we have a powerful tribute to the brave men and women who served in the armed forces, statues of armed forces personnel that represent the courage, sacrifice, and dedication of those who served the country. Here we have an incredible display of miniature military models, showcasing everything from aircraft and fighter planes to rifles and tankers, each one meticulously crafted to reflect the real-life weapons and vehicles that have played a key role in military history. This model is a tribute to one of the most remarkable achievements in human history, Apollo missions that took us to the moon and beyond. The Lincoln Pocket Watch is an iconic symbol of the 19th century, reflecting the style and craftsmanship of the era. Pocket watches were once the height of luxury and practicality, worn by many, including public figures like Lincoln himself. We have a fascinating display of old cars, a steam engine, and even a boat. This collection takes us through different eras of transportation that helped shape the way people traveled, both on land and water. It's a testament to the power and innovation of the 19th century. Before the age of modern trains, these massive machines helped transport goods and people across vast distances, making the railroad one of the most important modes of travel. We're now stepping inside a beautifully preserved train compartment, where we can get a glimpse of what train travel was like in the past. Just imagine the sound of the wheels on the tracks, and the smell of the coal as you relax in this classic setting. Well, that wraps up our incredible journey through the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum. From vintage trains and rare artifacts to the rich history of the railroad, this museum has truly taken us back in time. I hope you enjoyed exploring this historical treasure as much as I did. If you're ever in Durango, don't miss the chance to visit and step into the past of steam engines, old railcars, and a community that helped shape the American West. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures. And don't forget to leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear what part of the museum fascinated you the most. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and take care. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.